What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We have a 2011 Toyota 4runner SR5 4-wheel drive, and I looked online, did not see any videos on this right here. We're doing an evap core on this. It calls for about 10 hours of labor to do it because you have to pull pretty much the dash out on it, and I haven't seen anybody else do this, so I figured why not make a video. It's going to be probably a multi-part video as well, but we'll start off by showing you this. And you're going to have to pull these little clips off. It's going to be a little hard for me to show it to you one-handed, but you can probably get a screwdriver in there and pull these apart if you wanted to. But there's like these little clips down in here. You just go down inside there and it should separate it, and you can pull them off. And it has it on both of them. That way you can see that bottom one. That's my lights a little dim, but there's one on the front, or bottom, and the top. So we'll start off by doing that. And there's no Freon in this. There was a leak in the evap core, so we're going to be, that's the reason we're changing it. And I did sniff it with a leak detector, and it was coming from inside of here, and it was coming from underneath the dash as well. So once I put it under the dash, under the little trim pieces that's under there that blocks it, it just started going off really bad, even on the lowest setting. But we're going to start off right here. Like I said, if you still have some Freon in there, go ahead and get somebody to evacuate it if you don't have a machine. But we're going to pull these off and probably go ahead and pull these lines off, and then we'll start on the actual dash part. First thing I did was took the glove box portion out after disconnecting the little lines outside. But open the door. He's going to push in on the sides. You can see how flexible they are, and they'll come out around here and there, and then it's just these little clips right there. Get y'all a better view. There you go. And they just snap right there. At least on mine it did. There may be a little like shock on yours. It may just clip in right there and probably bolts in right there. I'm looking at it right, but this one didn't have it, so I don't know if it comes factory or not on that. But we did get the door out of the way, and now I'm going to go ahead and take this bottom portion off. Should have a screw here, and I think that's pretty much it, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I think it's just that one screw right there, and then this little portion right there come out. It looks to be like a 10mm or Phillips. We're going to pull that out, and then we'll start pulling the center console off. And I know there's two 10mm in the actual inside of here, your armrest. I don't know how well y'all can see down in there, but there's two right there. You can take that up, and then it's been a while since I pulled one of these out, so I'll have to kind of go back through it as I'm telling y'all how to do this. So, but I know there's two in there, and I think there's some behind here. Yeah, there's one right there. Yeah, right there. So you can pull that out, and then I think this section will come off. I think this comes up along with that right there, and there may be, I think this center section right here will pop out, and I gotta figure out how this comes off again. I don't know if it screws. Yeah, it just screws off actually. I'll go ahead and take that off while we're here. Like I said, it's been a while since I've taken one of these center consoles out. I've never taken the entire dash out, but I've taken center console out before. It's not really that hard. I just got to remember what I got to pull off. But let me go ahead and pull this, unbolt this, take that screw out, and see if these come up and what's behind all that. I got the 10mm out of the armrest, got that piece off right here. It's down there, and once you take that bolt out, you can actually pull the lid and it'll come off. And then this whole center section right here will just lift up. There's two connectors. It's just this blue and this white one. This is for something else, like an accessory that they may have somewhere else. Not all of them have it. So, and now it looks like there's 10mm right there, one right there, and then I think after that this whole piece will probably come up. There's a connector right there as well. Should be able to get behind it. There it goes. That's separated, and then we should be able to lift this whole center section out after we get that. So let me take this off real quick. Also, I forgot to mention, when you drop this down, you're going to have these two modules right here. Pull that. There should be two on the back side. And it's just a pop clip. Get my trim tool. Clip tool. It's hard to do this with one hand sometimes. Come on. I'll set you up. Come on, get off there. It's clipping good. I know I'm moving y'all all around. It's just hard sometimes on the inside. But then that right there is off. We're gonna remove all those leaves too. Now. So, also I forgot to mention, this little center section right here will come straight up, and there's two tins right here. And so it moves around a lot easier. And I just got to make sure I got all the bolts out of it, and it should be ready to pull out, if I remember correctly. I don't think there's any more in here. I think it's all. Yeah, I just got to pull this trim piece right there off on the driver's side, and then I'll pull this out real quick. Got the center console out. We did have to disconnect this blue connector, and then there was a connector right there. Here is your AC controls. It pulls straight out, and there's one connector on the back of it. If I can get it. May have to set y'all down real quick. There's your connector. Here's your controls. Now we are going to take this tin and that tin off, and then we should be able to fold this back, and we should be able to start pulling this whole center section off right here. So let me pull those two tins out, and we should be ready to pull this whole center section off. Before we pull the center out, I'm going to actually pull this piece right here off. There's two tins on the bottom here and there. Then you can pull the top out. It is a little snug around the ignition, and then whenever you pull it out, you're gonna have three sensors right here, and then there's going to be one right there. But you can pull the whole sensor out, and you can just do the three connectors on this one, and you should be good to go. And now I think we actually have to unbolt a 10mm right there, and then this centerpiece will come out. Oh, there's that sensor right there. It's got like a tube on it. It's easy to pull out. It's just got two little pop clips on the side. So where I was talking about is this is that connector that you pull off and all that stuff. I know this video is a little all over the place just because I've never done this, and trying to go through and show y'all how to do it as well. Just, I want to give y'all the right information, and I don't want to take up too much of your time watching this when you could be out there doing it. So I'm trying to show you the most important stuff first. But we did take this center section out, and there's four connectors. These two and these two. One goes to your hazard, one goes to your four-wheel drive, and can't remember what the other one goes to. Oh, there it is. Goes to your back glass, your hazard, your four-wheel drive, and I think that was it. I think the other one goes to something that goes inside there. So it should be, I think, this black one, and then these two. And now we're going to take the radio out. 10mm, pull that. And also we got to take around your cluster off. You just pull on that and it comes out. You should have one connector. I can get it. There we go. right here. I'll show you that real quick. That blue one right there. That should be it. We'll set that down. And we'll also have to pull your instrument cluster out. We can pull this off with your trim tool. And then you should have 2 tins. One right here, one right there. Oh, never mind, you got 4. Forgot about this one has 4. So 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. They're gonna be right there. Right there, and then you should have, I think, just 1 connector on the back of this. So I'm gonna pull the radio out. I think there's 2 connectors and then a antenna wire, I think, on this one. But pull that out and pull your instrument cluster out. Here's your instrument cluster, and these 2 right there, those actually hold your connectors in, so those aren't very tight. And there's only 3 to actually hold it in the dash. There's 1 on the top and 2 on the bottom. There's your connectors right there, your left and your right. And now we are going to start taking a lot of these perimeter bolts for the actual dash out. You got like right here, right there. We'll take this off right here. There's a couple right there, and then we'll disconnect the airbag, but we'll take that, and this centerpiece will probably pull out. Yeah, once we take those out, we can pull this little centerpiece out and we can get to the airbag connector. Let me do that first before I start taking any of these perimeter bolts out on the dash. We got it out. Here it is. There's 4 Phillips heads, 2 on the bottom, 1 right there, there, 2 on top, right there, and right there. And once you pull it out, the connector for the airbag is normally right in there, but this one wasn't connected to that, so it's making me think somebody's had this out before. But here's the connector. You just push up on it like that and it should slide out. But now we're going to wait about 15 or 20 minutes, let that dissipate, and let all the charge on the airbag go away before we mess with anything else. But the next step is to actually start removing all these little 10mm perimeter bolts. I've been taking the dash pad bolts out of this, and there's one behind this vent right here. Once you take this vent off, I think there's a bolt that holds that in, and there's a 10mm right there. And the hardest one was the nut right there that held in behind the steering column. If you lower the steering column all the way down, you can get that off. Oh, I don't think I told y'all about the bottom down here. You will have to take your gas and hood latches off, but they're pretty easy. You just push in this little center tab and push back and they come right out. Now we're going to have to take this A-pillar piece off. It's just 2 10mm on your handrails. These little covers pop out with like a little flat blade screwdriver. And once you get those 2 10s off, this handle will come off. And then you can move your weather stripping like this, and it should pop out and pull out, and that'll free up the dash. Because I think I got every bolt out of the dash now, and we're about ready to pull it out. But I'm going to pull this off, and before I pull it out, I will show y'all everything. We're about ready to pull this out. Here are your antenna wires. You're going to need to disconnect this little one, and it goes over top of this air duct, and it runs and has clips like this all throughout the back of it. And also there are 2 12mm that hold the airbag in. They're right here and right over here. You take those out and you should be ready to pull your thing out after you pull this out. But so far up until this point, a Phillips head and a 10mm will pull everything out except for the airbag. So you just need a Phillips head, 10mm and 12mm, and a trim tool, and you can pull all this out. So I'm gonna try to let y'all see me pull this out and see how we're gonna get it out of here. It is gonna be a little tricky. I'm hoping I don't have to drop the steering column. That would be nice if we didn't have to do that. So there's a connector over here. So we're at the point where we need to take out everything to get the heater and AC box out, and it's going to take a minute, so I'm going to kind of go over everything that you need to remove to do this. So first of all, what I would suggest is lowering the steering column right here. There's 4 bolts that hold it on, or nuts actually, and they're 14s. There's one right here, and there's one right there on the opposite side, and then underneath, oh well, y'all can see that, there's one right there, and directly across from it is another one. Now on that one, it's going to be a wiring harness, and this is loose. I already took that off also, but there's a wiring harness that you're going to have to kind of maneuver around to get this back one, and then your steering column should fall down. Then this right here is held on by 10mm up inside. See if I can get y'all a better view, but you can see that little eyelet right there. There's a 10mm holds that on, and then your fuse box, there's going to be 3 10mm that holds it on. We'll have one right here. There's going to be one down here on the bottom. Get that out of your way. And then behind this little trim piece, there's one right there. Then you're going to have to disconnect all these wiring connectors right here and take this ground out. There is a mounting bolt right here for the box. There's a 12mm right here for the actual main metal support. You will have to take this tube out, and the way you do that is there is a little body clip. Hold on, let me get my flashlight. Right there, you pull it out, and this will slide. You can see how loose it is. Next, you will have this right here. This is part of your AC controls. It's just 3 10mm, one right there, there, and one over there. Then you'll have to take this off as well. It's just 1 10mm right there in the middle. We'll have to take this air duct out. There is a Phillips head right there. And then you have to do the same thing to that side. There's a Phillips head right about here on the same thing. And those will lift up and come out, and fairly easy. Then there's another 10mm right there. I know it was a little bright. And then along the top, there's a lot of little body clips that holds like all this wire and support stuff in. Like right here is one. And then, trying to get a flashlight for y'all. Then there's a ground wire right there. And wires right here just held in with the little squeeze clips too. Squeeze clip right there. And this is all your radio stuff. These are your AC controls right here in the middle as well. You'll have to take this air tube out. There's one on the driver's side too. You'll have to take out. Also disconnect this connector. And then on the passenger side, once you take this out, you'll have your blend door actuators. You'll have to remove the connectors on all of those, and your blower motor and your blower resistor is down there. Now I'm trying to lean over. On the passenger side, you have to pull this whole white box right here out. The computer is held in with 2 10mm on the top, one on the bottom along here. I'm trying to show it to you. It's behind the carpet. Then the box is held in with 2 10mm, one right there and one right there. The blower motor box also, it has a 10mm right here, then there's one on the bottom. Let's see if I can feel it for you. There's one on the bottom down there. You take that off, and then there's one that held in with the main support bracket right there. and then you should be able to pull this heater box down a little bit and get it out of the way, and you can remove your center support a lot easier. But there's clips along the top right here to hold the wiring, sensor right there, disconnect it, 10mm holds the wiring harness on right there, and then the blend door actuator up inside of there is a pain in the butt to get to. So if you can, lower the heater box down and take it out once you do that. And before you put it in, connect it as well. I'm trying to think of anything else. And I believe that should be it, other than the bolts that actually hold the support in. So there's another bolt on this side as well, just like the driver's side. Then you want to have two 12s right there. And then on the driver's side, you got this bolt, and then behind these right here, these little plastic clips, there is two bolts. And once you have all that out of the way, you should be able to tilt it back and like just clear just enough to get the box out. I'm going to take this piece right here off too, just give me a little bit more room, and if you want to, you can do that, but keep dropping the flashlight. And to do this, it's just got these little clips right there. There's two on the front, and I think there's like 3 on each side. You pull them and it'll come up once you pull the main metal support back. I know I'm probably missing something. Oh, I know one thing I missed. Like I said, trying to remember before I take it all out for y'all. So right here is like a little module. There should be 3 10mm that you want to take out, and then there's a 10mm hose module in this bracket. I will take this bracket off just to make it easier to get all this out, because you're going to have to feed that little white plastic piece I said you had to pull out, and you have to feed it through around the main support also, because it does go on the top, it looks like, and it's a little tight back up in here. I can already tell my hands a little tight in there. I think that is mostly everything. You might have a couple more mounting bolts for the main AC box, but I think they're behind the wiring harness over here. But I'm gonna get to pulling all this out. If there's anything I miss, I'll show it to you whenever I get the box out.